Hello and welcome back to live coverage of the Apex Gaming $5,000 Modern Trio Open here in sunny Caldwell, Ohio. I'm Todd Tandy Anderson, joined by Corey Baumeister. Say hi, Corey.
Hey, what's up?
We are entering into round 6 of 6 for the Swiss. After this round, we're going to have our 8 teams that are going to be vying for their fair share of $5,000 in cash-in prizes, and we got a bit of a doozy here for you. Why don't you read off who's playing and decks are going to
Yeah, so all these players here are at 4-1. So we have the Goonie Tunes. Gotta love
Okay,
that team
yeah,
names. We got Dylan Petit and Gabriel Abadi and Dylan here on that team playing against Franklin Folks, TJ Radicats, and James Magnus.
Yep, and the matchup that we're going to be featuring here for this round, we're going to be watching Abadi again on that Affinity strategy.
Yep.
Because he's facing off against TJ, one of the better players here, and two of the better players here in
Definitely.
the room, honestly, about to fight it out. TJ is going to be on Amulet Titan against Affinity. I think it might be a little one-sided in the Titan favor.
I would think so too. You know, Opal decks in general don't usually want to play against Titan. You know, there can be some sideboard cards, some hate cards that end up playing out decent in the matchup, but I really think Gabe needs to win the die roll, get a lot of pressure, and have a timely Metallic Rebuke that maybe Cavern of Souls is not protecting any of your creatures, or, you're not getting Scape Shift out with 3 mana still floating. So, yeah, rough matchup, I would think, for Affinity, but we'll see. That's why we play the games.
That's true. The two matches for their teammates, TJ's teammate, Franklin Folks, is going to be on Goryo's Vengeance, fighting against Abadi's teammate, Dylan Pettit, on Green-White Creature combo. This is not Brood Scale necessarily like the one you're used to seeing. This is Brood Scale in addition to like a Rosy Cotton combo.
Yeah, good old Heliod. Haven't seen that card really do anything in a while, but that's a spicy one.
And then James Mangus on Esper Ketramos is going to be fighting against Dylan Glendening on Monoblue Belcher. So,
all right,
those are the matchups. The players are in the feature match area and ready to go, and we are too. So let's head on down and watch the final round of Swiss. Both of these teams, I believe, are 4-1. I believe it was Abadi's team's tiebreakers that were so bad that they could not intentionally draw. There's quite a few teams in the event right now that are 3-1-1, and all of this is because this is an insanely big turnout.
Gigantic,
130 plus players all vying for the title and a trip to the Apex Invitational as well as the regional championship.
Yeah, most of the time when you're 4-1 going into the last round here, it gets to be closer to a clean cut. You know, we see every single team usually drawing, but not the case here. Caldwell, Ohio absolutely loves Modern, it would seem. And I don't blame them, as do I.
All right, well, players are underway here. Abadi going to play a turn to Emery, Lurker of the Lock. Has a Mox Opal, but not Metalcraft just yet. And I don't believe can play the Metallic Rebuke that he has in hand. We're going to go back to TJ's side of things. He has turn 1 Amulet of Vigor. Turn 2, guess what?
Ruh-roh!
I'm dead. I think I'm dead.
We'll see if Titan's not in play on this turn, which is starting to look more likely.
Yeah.
So as now we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana, so perfectly enough for the turn 2 Green Sun Zenith 4.
Primeval Titan.
Everybody's favorite Titan. I believe TJ is going to get a game loss, though. He's playing Astral Titan here in our document instead.
Yes. Astral Titan, one of the crossovers from, I believe, Final
Fantasy. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, Amulets doing Amulet things. The double Amulet starts with no resistance are often the most explosive in the format. Or at the very least, allow for the most ease of kill. Like, it takes maybe physical time to go through the manifestation of the combo itself. But, I mean, here, TJ, at this point, just knows the deck inside and out. He went and got Mirror Pool. He's going to make a copy of Primeval Titan, and then guess what? That gets something else, and then that gets something else, and then over and over and over.
This should be infinite Titans, and attack with infinite Titans, and deal infinite damage, and get it going. As you're going to have that Mirror Pool, go to the graveyard, keep copying Titans. Eventually, you go get the Teleria West for Summoner's Pact. Then you get Aftermath Analyst, bring everything back, and you just loop this indefinitely. With 2 amulets, it becomes very trivial. With 3, numbers aren't real. Nothing matters. And you just go to town.
Okay. Well, while he executes this combo, do you want to peek in at another game?
Yeah, sure. I don't care.
All right,
I'm always down for more
let's
magic.
peek in. Let's peek in the folks Pettit matchup. That's Goryo's versus the green white creature combo. Pettit's got a lot of these little combos going on that are quite interesting, and I really don't want to watch TJ just do this combo for another 5 minutes because the body, he's not even paying attention.
Yeah,
He's
neither
watching
does
another
Gabe.
match.
He's also watching a
He
different
he
game.
knows he's dead.
Yeah. But just keeping him honest, making him do his thing. I respect it. But of course, this definitely looks to be GG as Teleria West searches for that
Summoner's
Pact.
goes against the Druid that brings them all back from the graveyard.
Exactly.
Or Aftermath Analyst, rather.
Yep. And you do need, to get to Delirium to, like, fully get things going. But it is quite trivial to do at this point as these Titans are just going to be searching up infinite more Titans, get the Aftermath Analyst here, and we're all done. Titan used to be a lot more fair, which is kind of funny to say because it's never been really that fair, but back in the day, you just had to attack with 1, give it double strike, and hope your opponent was at 16 or lower.
That's true.
Not the case any longer, that's for sure.
It's funny, like Aftermath Analyst introduced Infinity into the equation. Right?
Yeah.
Like it just allows you with Lotus Field and a couple of other lands to just bring back the Aftermath Analyst over and over again to generate infinite mana.
Yeah.
And when you add infinite mana to that with the ability to tutor with Talaria West, Summoner's Pact, as well as a bunch of the lands that have these cool abilities, it's really just a game changer. It means that your opponent is like never safe.
Yeah, 100%. And did get a look at Gabe's hand there. The rebuke was there. I mean, it would have worked on that Green Sun Zenith. TJ could have just not extended into it if that was his only threat. So while it might look like, oh, maybe Gabe misstepped there by playing Emery instead of leaving up rebuke, TJ could just play around it. I like Gabe's play of like make him have number 1 second Amulet and the Titan. And if he doesn't, well, all of a sudden you're set up to win the game instead of just playing to not lose it.
Well, turn 2 kill from TJ Radizak, and that's an argument for banning something that I don't know, best argument I've seen in a long time for banning something. Because that was disgusting. Turn 2 kill, double Amulet into Green Sun Zenith, and that's all she wrote. After game number 1, a body, we're going to go to the sideboard, and why don't you list off his sideboard for me, Corey, and tell me what you think he's going to be bringing in.
Let's check out what we got. As I look at it, I do see quite a few cards that are going to be brought in, and that leads me to believe that, well, this is a bad matchup, as it really looks like on paper. We have 3 Consign, 2 Damping Spheres, 3 Dispatch, 2 Force of Negation, 2 Harbinger of the Seas, 1 Soul Guide Lantern, and 2 Whip Flares. So you can make a case for a lot of these cards, but the Slam Dunks are Damping Sphere and the Harbingers, and then Consign is kind of the the card that's always a little iffy because it does a lot of good work against Titan itself, but then if your opponent does the scape shift lines, maybe it's not as good there. So that one is a little bit iffy, but with how bad the matchup is and how many dead cards Gabe has, we're probably bringing those in as well, but definitely bringing those Harbingers and Damping Spheres.
All right, so Radizak's on this Titan strat. They don't often have too many things that are important out of the sideboard in terms of being offensive with your sideboard plan.
Almost all reactive.
Yes. And so but those cards also usually quite good against artifacts and enchantments. So what's he got over there?
Yeah, so I think the only cards that look solid to me are Force of Vigor, always a great card against Opal decks, always a way to have a free 2-for-2, which ends up being very strong when you got extra green cards. Mystical Dispute, I like a little bit as well, as it's pretty obvious that rebukes are on the other side, so having a little counterplay there is not so bad. Outside of that, nothing is amazing. You could think about Fire Magic as a way to interact with some of these Emerys, stuff like that, but nothing too exciting. I'm bringing in those Dismembers as well up against Emery and Tameo.
Yeah, I love the Force of Vigors.
Think about the Force of Vigors, Dismember, and Disputes look pretty solid.
Great. As these players are shuffling up here for game number 2 and finishing their mulligans, I'd like to take some time to thank our sponsors for this weekend's festivities here at Apex Con. We are sponsored by Moxfield.com. Moxfield is a great place to build and share deck lists with your friends. All of our deck lists from the Apex series are posted on Moxfield within the next week or so. We're also sponsored by SpiceRack.gg. SpiceRack is a great place to find a tournament near you with their search function, but also run tournaments yourself if you're a store or a tournament organizer. Check out SpiceRack.gg today and find a place to play. Players are just about ready to go for game number 2, so let's head on down. Let's see who takes it. If TJ wins on turn 2 again, he's going to put his team in a great position to take the match. Remember, this is a team event, and your team has to win 2 of the 3 matches to get the dub.
Looks like TJ definitely has Saga and Amulet. That other land might have just been, if it's a bounce land, we're cooking. And with how TJ set his hand down, we're probably good to go on that. TJ's hand looked excellent. We'll see if Gabe has anything to say about it. Turn 1 Urza Saga is very commonly played up against Amulet, as you just want to hustle out any kind of card that interacts with your opponent's thing. Usually Haywire might, but since that's already in play, what a start here from Gabe.
Oh, yeah. Played 5 cards on the first turn. Urza Saga, Haywire Might, Mishra's Bauble, Mox Opal with the Metalcraft, and that allows for a Tamio as well. Back TJ's way goes turn 1 Urza Saga into Amulet of Vigor and passes back both players with really strong openers.
Yeah, would have been absolutely GG if Gabe had Emery there instead of Tamio, as you're just sack Haywire Might,
Yes.
bring it back,
Yes.
sack Haywire Might. You know, whenever you naturally draw the Haywire Might up against Amulet, you feel like a god. And now it looks like Gabe's just in a tough squeeze where I don't think we have another colored mana source. So you have to make the choice. Do you cast Thoughtseize and hope you have a land? But if you don't, you don't get to Haywire Might. Or if you just bite the bullet here, Haywire Might, don't do any other plays, and draw a card, which also feels bad. I like the gamble here.
I do too.
Kind of.
I think it's unlikely you die on turn 2 again. Like, obviously it can happen, but it's unlikely. But Gabe disagrees, and he's just going to be very defensive here, and he's going to take out that Amulet of Vigor. How do you feel about taking out Amulet of Vigor versus the Urza Saga to keep your opponent off that land, maybe mess up the potential for a bounce land next turn?
I think I still like hitting Amulet. All the Saga is an Amulet with Suspend 2, you know, and like that's coming in next turn. Now you at least have a turn to deal with this Saga, if you can find a way to do so. Maybe we have another Haywire Might here in the list from Gabe.
Gabe gonna float a mana here and go searching through the deck for the Urza Saga trigger, Chapter 3. Thumbing a Lava Spur Boots. Also can get the Mox Amber.
Yeah, no second Haywire Might, so something if we have an Emery, I mean, Boots looks amazing as Haywire Might gets to come back and play, but if not, get some mana, go from there. I like that with 2 Thoughtcasts in hand. You really need some colored mana here to be able to just find more answers for this Saga. If I could deal with that Saga from Gabe's perspective, I'd be feeling great this turn.
All right, Tamio comes in for 0 damage, but we create a clue token. She's going searching. Taps Mox Opal. We're going to draw, or excuse me, we're going to play the new card. That's Pinnacle Emissary. Let's get this one back on screen. We had this one come into play last round a couple times, but basically we're going to pay the void cost of a blue-red hybrid. That's going to put it into play until the end of turn, and then whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 drone token. This allows for some really wide battlefields.
Interesting to start with that. If you're going to Thoughtcast anyways, you should Thoughtcast first. As if we find Emery here, all of a sudden you kind of, you know, cornered yourself into not being able to do what the real best play is. I guess we didn't get the boots, so we didn't have the ability to give it haste, but, you know, you can always draw Emery and boots or something like that. Minor thing, of course, but everything matters in high-level competitive Magic.
We have a second Mox Opal we can play from hand to cast another Thoughtcast. It kind of undoes the thing that Thoughtcast does, but it allows us to continue playing this turn, which I really like. We are improvising. That's a Kappa Cannoneer. This is...
Oh my. Pinnacle Emissary looks awesome here. The fact that you can improvise that too, like, that is spicy.
Yeah, so we did play the second Mox Opal, so the first one's got to go. That created a drone token, and then the Kappa Cannoneer created another drone token, and now the creature with warp does get exiled.
Okay, just more Thoughtcasts in hand. But really nothing to interact with the combo, and that's the problem with Affinity versus Amulet Titan. TJ is like, wow, that was really cool. You put a lot of things into the battlefield. You're dead.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Both people had fun, you know? Like,
oh, yeah.
And this pains me, but, you know, I am also a diehard Mox Opal enjoyer, and these kind of scenarios happen to me quite often. Do all this cool stuff, and then you have the great joy of just dying to good old 6-mana 6/6s.
All right, TJ gonna play the Echoing Land that copies a land in the graveyard. That's going to be another Urza Saga. It's a little bit slow here, but I wonder if TJ maybe has a Force of Vigor hanging around. It can't target Kappa Cannoneer, and a lot of these other artifacts are kind of mid at the moment, so maybe it's not even that good.
Yeah, we will see. That being said, Gabe doesn't have much going on this turn either, as
Ooh. So we're going to go for a Thoughtcast. That's going to meet a Mystical Dispute from TJ. So it's going to get countered unless you pay 3 and he lets it go.
Had no real way to play around it, so nothing too bad here. Would make a lot of sense for Gabe to just Thoughtcast again from the yard here, as, you know, he's got the pressure. Everything is there when it comes to that. You just need some way to interact and just try to, yeah, just slow down TJ for 1 to 2 more turns is really all he needs, as Kappa makes for some quick work.
Okay, here is a Lava Spur Boots. This is going to grow the Kappa Cannoneer till the end of, or with a +1/+1 counter, and it's unblockable until end of turn. So it's going to be an attack for 8.
Yep.
TJ down to 12.
Now, do we have a bounce land? That looks like the thing that's missing from TJ. So TJ has to hope that he gets to live through this turn with the help of 1 construct as a blocker, and then draw a bounce land, has that scape shift, can probably win next turn. But I think Gabe also picked up a rebuke, so I think TJ's draw was just too slow here, and is going to grant them a game 3 between these two all-stars.
Yeah, I mean, that Natural Haywire Might, right, was so strong.
Haywire Might is a good card.
Going to make a construct here, and we're going to go for equipping it with the Lava Spur Boots in order to give it haste and threaten lethal.
That's not enough, because a construct can jump in the way as well. Now, Kappa will be 7 power from whatever you're about to play here. So that's 7, 8, 9 with the constructs. So not quite enough yet. And you got to think, if there was a Spell Bomb still in the deck, that would be lethal.
Well, we're going to go get another Mox here from hand, and that's going to give us some extra mana to work with, including a Metallic Rebuke. So I think this is just not quite enough, like you were right.
Yeah, that's that would lead me to believe that Spell Bomb is no longer in the deck, which makes sense. There are times when it can be nice and slow down, maybe time walk your opponent, but there's those other draws where they do scape shift things or they do analyst things. All of a sudden you look at a unsummon on an artifact and you're like, whoa, this was stupid. Why did I leave this in my deck?
All right, well, TJ does survive.
Bounce land? Oh, I think that was a forest.
Does survive the turn. We'll see if he can play around this Metallic Rebuke in some way.
Yeah, N still has to find a bounce land. I don't think we can do it. I guess, yeah, you sack this to get a bounce land. That's 4 mana. And I guess that, oh, yeah, okay, that's 6 mana. Okay. So that is scape shift mana. But you are losing some of your lands. Either way, you know, whatever line TJ is drawing up here probably gets met with a rebuke.
Okay, so he has 6 mana floating, it seems. We're going to go down to 4 mana floating and play Aftermath Analyst. And
counter it.
A body doesn't Metallic Rebuke this, then he might die.
Yeah, you have to rebuke this. You know, I guess there's probably 4 mana still floating. So Scape Shift still being online here.
Yeah, but Scape Shift with only 1 land in play, does that even do anything?
I mean, it does allow you to get a Lotus Field and then Prime Time.
Oh my.
I actually think, oh yeah, because you have 4 mana, yeah, you have 4 mana floating. so you could scape shift for
just Lotus Field,
just
and
Lotus
thick,
Field.
And then you cast Titan.
Decided to explore anyways, so maybe didn't have that online. I also just don't think just a Titan with no lands was going to be enough anyways.
Not quite enough material to really get it done.
Didn't look like it.
All right, so impressive stuff there from a body. His deck really blasting out of the gates and had the Metallic Rebuke. Evens it up 1-1 and is looking to help punch him and his team's ticket into the top 8. Both of these teams are currently 4-1 and fighting for one of those coveted 8 slots.
Yeah, brutal stuff to be 4-1 going into that last round and not getting a draw, but you know, that's magic. Sometimes somebody's got terrible breakers, and you got a game.
We came to game.
We came to game. Absolutely. And if you're Gabe's team, at least Gabe's team members, you came with arms wide open. Everybody loves some good old Creed. You guy's got a fantastic mustache as well. It's like a half handlebar, you know, but also kind of going into a goatee.
Yeah.
Fashion icon, if you ask me. I like it. I like it.
That's the Belcher player too, so you know he's having a great time.
Absolutely.
All right, as these players are finishing up shuffling for game number 3, the final game of this match, and maybe our final game of the Swiss, we want to remind you that we are still going to bring you the top 8 coverage after, so don't go anywhere.
Keep it up, chat. Come on, you know all the lyrics. We can't just go to the "Welcome to this place, I'll show you everything." I think we can get all the lyrics in chat, right? Help us out.
All right, chat. If you don't do all the lyrics right now, you're fired. All right, match underway. Let's head back down. Turn 1 Beseiju for TJ. No Amulet, though. Important to note. A body. Steams. Shocks in a steam vent. Steams in a shock vents. Plays turn 1 Emery. That's a great start. Let's see if TJ has any counter for it. No.
Yeah, any force? I think I do see a force, but, you know, the way Gabe played it here, you know, is able to, you know, if you just play like Mox Opal, Mox Amber, then maybe you do want to force it. But if you're forcing a bauble that can then get sacrificed, looks a lot less exciting.
Urza Saga is land number 2 for TJ. We're going to pass it back to a body. The Force of Vigor also not very effective in this spot because the Emery can just bring back stuff that you destroy.
Yeah, here's the one spot where this Urza Saga is about to hit the battlefield, but even then it's not great because I think Gabe has a Rebuke as well. So targeted the bauble and then cast this. I like this play because this allows Gabe to then immediately play the bauble from the yard, immediately get that trigger, where if you do this the other way around, Emery targets the bauble, then TJ can blow up the 3/3 and the Mox Opal. So I believe this guy's played this deck before. He's played Magic before.
Oh, yeah. A body, one of our recent champions here. Do you remember what deck he was playing when he won his last event?
I do not. No, I would assume Hammer, but then again, he has a twin brother, and I don't know if I can tell them apart. So,
well, Gabe is well, you know their team name is the Goonie Tunes.
Yes.
Gabe is a cartoon character.
Yes.
And his brother is the most serious man alive.
I mean, I've seen him. I feel like I've seen them both wear cowboy hats to tournaments all the time.
No, that's
but
just Gabe. Sorry.
Maybe that's just Gabe. You know, running around so often that we see him, kind of see him everywhere.
All right, well, this Pinnacle Emissary is now warped into play until the end of turn, and we're going to be playing some zeros. That Force of Vigor did blow up a Mox Opal and a targeted Mishra's Bauble in response. And that was cracked to draw. Then we cast the Bauble, and that gave us a drone token. And a body can keep going a little bit.
Yeah, this Pinnacle Emissary has very much impressed me, either last round as well as this one. You know, it doesn't even seem like this is the matchup for it, you know, in air quotes or whatever, but just looks solid here. Amulet off the top. TJ's pretty good at doing that, it seems.
Well, put it in the deck to draw, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he has anything too busted going on with Amulet. Can go Amulet, then maybe Crumbling Vestige, untap, make a construct, and then next turn, good to go.
Yeah. This also makes sure that he has the bounce gun still in hand while being able to make that construct blocker.
Yeah. A solid turn there from TJ for sure. But Gabe's draw has been phenomenal and
Yeah.
has a lot going on. If Gabe can survive this next turn, and I believe we did see a rebuke in hand, so that should be a solid chance to survive.
I agree.
That the turn after, you get Haywire Might off the Saga. I guess we're still missing green mana, but I'm sure Gabe can figure that out. And then Haywire Might.
Emery.
Yeah, and then you can. Yeah, but the one thing is you want to Haywire Might the Amulet and then bring Haywire Might back with Emery and then do it again. So you need two green sources for that.
Body with portable hole. Nice piece of cardboard
Excellent.
here. Going to take out Amulet of Vigor with it. Emery going to target Mox Opal. And now pass back with Metallic Rebuke and the ability to make a construct. We can't do both, but we can do either. Yeah. Probably should have attacked for one with the drone.
Yeah, probably.
But maybe needs it for the Metallic Rebuke or something that I'm not seeing right.
Maybe you want to block a flying Primeval Titan, perhaps?
Well, that's the one you were talking about, right?
The Astral Titan. Yeah,
Titan,
no kidding.
He's just like zooming through space.
That sounds like that Titan
running
fly.
through space.
Yes. The crossover.
Well, that's the next Universes Beyond's Naruto.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I only know one IP, and it was Final Fantasy, so from that point on, I've peaked as far as my fandom goes.
Urza Saga going to pop here. Floating a mana to TJ Radizak. We're going to go get Amulet of Vigor. The first one exiled with Portable Hole, so maybe not going to win this turn, but we'll see what kind of tricks he's got up his sleeve.
I think there was a solid chance that TJ was going to win outside of this Portable Hole.
Agreed.
But, just because Scapeshift is a line and you can generate 7 mana to be able to fight through that, but with this being the case, it doesn't look like you can. The one thing TJ can do is if he does have another bounce line, which I think he does, you get to at least bounce this Beseiju and blow up Portable Hole at Gabe's end step.
Well, it looks like we're just going to cast Scapeshift here with only 2 lands in play and force a body to make a really tough decision.
Yeah.
All right, what 2 lands do you go get, and how does the rest of the turn work? Is it just Lotus Field, make 6 mana, cast Primeval Titan?
And hope for the best. Yeah, I think that's the case, but honestly, it's so scary, and, I get countering this, but I would have been very interested to see what happens if Gabe didn't counter this, because I don't think there's much you can do besides just go for it. You can give Vesuva and Lotus Field if you want, but whatever it's going to be. Generate 6 mana, throw your lands in the trash, and then get your Titan countered and extend the hand is how I think that would have played out. Mm-hmm. But I still think things are looking great for Gabe here as this Haywire Might is going to go to Chompin on this Amulet, and he's going to be able to do that every turn. So I think Gabe's got him here. Got him in the squeeze.
I think so too. I think this is really well executed from a body. Had this all planned out over multiple turns with that Metallic Rebuke. Now going to rely on maybe the Pinnacle Emissary to finish the game out, but utilizing just all his cards to do really sweet stuff over the next few turns.
Yeah, being able to just hardcast that card is really nice as well. So overly impressed with that card in this Affinity deck.
Yeah, it's looked good so far, and honestly, it's only making like 1 or 2 drones per, but a 1 mana artifact that then lets you make a 0 mana artifact allows Metalcraft and Affinity stuff to just get charged up so fast.
Just that and Mox Opal to then turn on Mox Opal and then play Emery or Tameo. That's enough for me. I'm hooked, and we'll be for sure trying this deck on stream later this week. It looks awesome.
Cast a Pinnacle Emissary from hand.
Instead of from Warp, does that? Yeah, that doesn't make too much sense, does it?
No, but it do be like that sometimes.
Yeah.
And Haywire Might gonna zap. We do have a Mox, so we can bring it back right now if we so choose.
Yeah, and I think we still have 1 colorless mana floating too. I think that's that 1 dice, so able to bring something back.
Oh, is looking to bring back Tormod's Crypt to make sure there's no infinite shenanigans with Aftermath Analyst.
Yeah, I think I like that, actually. I guess not, but it's reasonable. You think, like, all right, I'm not going to lose to a Titan draw next turn as, there's already 2 amulets gone. TJ's probably not holding back amulets, which is the case. You know, so it would have to be TJ drawing one right now, having like a bunch of grazers and stuff.
Yeah, 2 amulets exiled, or 2 amulets exiled, 1 from the portable hole. TJ with that Boseiju can unlock it, but decides to play the Boseiju since he has no other lands. 2 Titans in hand. It's looking pretty grim.
Yeah, in what seems to be a, modern matches don't usually go that crazy of like 80-20 matchups, anything like that. But, this matchup has to be a solid 70-30 in favor of TJ. At least how it looks on paper, but Gabe just had 2 really nice draws. Honestly, Gabe had 3 really nice draws. It just, TJ just got to shrug off one of them.
I think Gabe just has a really nice deck.
I do too. I think this is awesome. And anytime I see a Mox Opal deck that looks like it's improved in some way, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
We're going to jam this portable hole and take care of the blocker, and that's going to allow us to just attack for massive damage here. TJ on the back foot, and I don't think any one card off the top of his deck can save him, so I think a body is going to take this game and match in just a few short attacks. Here's an attack for 7, TJ down to 12. And we can still make a construct.
Yeah. I was going to say Fire Magic maybe is okay, but yeah, that's not enough.
GG. And a body takes it down, and I believe that's going to do it for the match, too. His teammate, Dylan Glendronning on Belcher, looked very comfortable and happy there, and that handshake signifies to me that we are all done.
Oh, they are heading to the top 8 with arms wide open.
Yeah, a lot of it due to the strength of Gabe Abadi's kind of newer build of Affinity, and really thanks to the new Emissary card, just creating tons and tons of value early on.
Yeah. Looked really, really good there. And we'll be looking forward to seeing more Mox Opals in the top 8, even though, we don't see a lot of them anymore.
Ever since Breach was banned. Yeah.
I know, RIP. Just hasn't been that amazing, as there's great artifacts and enchantment removal. Wrath of the Skies probably being the best. And, yeah, it's just not a fast enough clock these days when you don't have a combo finish.
Yep.
Yeah.